Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe once said, when two incompatibles meet, they can coexist if only they agree to agree and agree to disagree. But Nigeria, can we ever agree? My learned senior mentor, G.T. Ogunye, senior advocate of the masses, recently said, a country does not survive solely because of forced unity. It survives on purpose and fruitfulness. This Nigerian house, he said, is falling. Today, if it is not agitation for Oodua Republic, it is movement for the actualization of Biafra, or Arewa threatening to send Igbos packing from the north. How about Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen, oil theft and militancy, or the once upon a time OPC? Why is the previous government granted amnesty to militants who didn't ask them for it? The current government sees Biafran agitators as miscreants that must be crushed, while rehabilitating repentant members of Boko Haram. Yet the victims are still crying daily for succor from the same government. If this is not injustice from a motherland, then I wonder how else you would define it. Yet, we mouth the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. I laugh in vernacular. Some stakeholders have canvassed for fiscal federalism or return to the 1963 Republican Constitution, while others have argued that we either restructure, discuss our coexistence through a referendum, or go our separate ways. And like my brother and friend, Barrister Tio Nwigbo, once asked, are we really afraid of going our separate ways if that will guarantee justice, fairness, equity, peace, and security? I leave you to be the judge of that, though. Why countries like Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and USSR have all separated to foster equality, justice, security, and ethnic nationalism, we are here preaching unity in Nigeria, yet we have no solution to the genocide in South Kaduna, the illegal but officially condoned arms in the hands of killer headsmen, kidnappers, bandits roaming the country, the technically defeated Boko Haram, the amnesty militant, or the kidnappers? How about the corruption, nepotism, ineptitude, and barefaced selfishness and planlessness on the part of the political class, president, governor, lawmakers, and their likes? Make we sit down there and deceive ourselves. Czechoslovakia, which had a population of 16 million people, less than the Lagos population, separated into Czech and the Slovakia on the 1st of January 1993. Yugoslavia in 1991 was 23.2 million, barely more than Lagos population. It broke into 6 countries same year, all along ethnic lines, namely Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, and Slovenia. In Europe, the UK permitted regional autonomy to the Irish, the Scots, and the Welsh, while the English dominated Westminster. Switzerland has 4 ethnic groups. Each of them rotates the presidency annually through 7 cantons that constitute the federation unit. These countries, like every other, might have their problems, but they are stronger and fostering independence today. I will therefore advocate, as posited by Professor Wole Soyinka and Professor George Obiozor and a lot of other scholars, apart from those in government. Nigeria, as presently constituted, is structurally flawed and badly configured. If not restructured either along regional lines or allowed to discuss their cohabitation to whether agree to agree or agree to disagree, it might give way forcefully without the opportunity of proper tailoring. The North, if properly harnessed, can not only feed the entire West Africa, but can become a new Dubai. The Southwest can enhance our creativity to become another Silicon Valley if they weren't waiting for revenue from a feeding bottle center. The Southeast, with accountable leadership and right infrastructure, can become the Japan of Africa, while the South-South can be able to look inward for possibilities that abound around them. Then we will indeed understand that united we fall, divided we stand.